Well, from there, let's head to Davos, where international leaders have gathered for the World Economic Forum to try and chart a way forward for the global economy in 2019. Now, South Africa has a strong delegation there, including several ministers. Our colleague Annika Larsen is there covering it all for us.
We're coming to you from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, where the temperatures are plummeting. But certainly, as you can probably see behind us, we're at the Intercontinental Hotel, where all the heads of state and world leaders are gathering. And one of the big issues, talking points here at Davos, especially in the US and coming up for our elections in South Africa later this year, is cyber terrorism and the interference it could possibly have in elections. And that's why I've asked Communications Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams to join us, who looks very warm. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're on a panel about cyber terrorism. There are concerns about it ahead of our elections. What is being discussed with your counterparts, and is there any sort of threat?
Thank you, Annika. Let me greet the viewers at home. Firstly, the entire topic was on cybersecurity, terrorism being part of it. But one thing that we agree as countries first is that we need to collaborate, all of us. We need to make sure that we put policies in place. Fortunately, in South Africa, we already have a cybersecurity framework and a policy. We've just passed, again, via the Department of Justice, a cyber crimes bill, which seeks to say, if you are a perpetrator of the cyber crimes, how do we make sure that you are brought to book? But now you're raising an important element that we're going to elections. And you know what things happen as we refer to fake news, which only talks about mismanagement or miscommunication, disinformation, whereby people deliberately mislead others so that they can perpetuate their propaganda. These are the things that we're saying as countries. We've got to collaborate, but most importantly, to bring the owners of the platform. Because if you participate on the cyberspace, you're participating on somebody's platform, whether you're on Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp, that's somebody else's platform. How do we make sure that we engage with them? Because they also realize that they are playing a crucial role in ensuring that people are bullied online, but at the same time, they have a responsibility to protect people from that. So what we agreed on today is to say, let's come up with a common approach that starts with internet governance. As you understand that there's lots of regulations when it comes to internet, which is something, unfortunately, we have not managed to raise enough awareness with the public. Because as much as we deploy infrastructure to say people must have access to internet, but we have not taught them about the disadvantages of participating in the space if you're not ready. It's just like when you get a car, you must know the rules in the road, or how do you drive and all that.
But what is the difference between internet governance and stopping people from expressing themselves in censorship?
That's not the same, darling. Internet governance refers to the regulation. That's why I referred to not just the end user, but the content developer, the person that occupies the platform, to say, as Stella, I have created this platform that people are going to be engaging with. How do I make sure that they are protected? If you go to Facebook, for example, there's privacy settings that are there. They are taking responsibility to say you can block somebody whom you feel that he's making you uncomfortable. Same applies to Twitter. Are we able now as citizens to utilize those measures that are deployed there to make sure that we protect our people? But at the same time, how do we educate people about what I spoke about, the misinformation, when people share lots of information that is fabricated? How do we make sure we teach people? We've got to be responsible. In South Africa, we have a constitution that is very open and unfortunately recognizes everybody's right. People are equal. And when we go online, we want to pretend as if there are others that are better than others. How do we raise that awareness to say, these are the rules? If you look into the Budapest that was signed by the big companies, whereby they only focus on Europe and America, unfortunately. As Africa, we are saying, give us an opportunity, because we are also role players in the internet space. As much as our people, like now we have about 47% of people who are not online in South Africa. How do we bridge the gap? We're exploring those methods, but how do we protect the people? Working with the people in Europe. Most of the people that are bringing platforms are not people from South Africa, which is something that we're still working on, to say, take responsibility. Let people have access, but as they play on the cyberspace, let's make sure that they are protected. And trust me, that's not censorship. You have a responsibility to protect protect your young one at home. It's high time that we also engage the OEMs, the manufacturers of the devices themselves, just like you do when you go to your TV at home, your TV room.
Absolutely. I just think that you may be criticised, the criticism may come up that censorship is the same as making rules and regulations. It could come up. Just a quick question. In terms of our national broadcaster, SABC, they say they're running out of money. Are you going to bail them out?
On SABC, we'll be addressing the nation once we have concluded the discussions with all the stakeholders involved.
That is the most diplomatic non-answer that I've ever heard, Minister. What are you saying? Are you saying that it's coming up soon? I mean, people are worried that they're losing jobs. Can we have any timeline?
Definitely the people at SABC, they know. They're not worried because we've engaged with them. SABC workers, SABC unions and the management, they can't be worried. They know our engagement.
As our Communications Minister, what is your message going to be at Davos 2019?
Our message to Davos is that as South Africa, we are in the path to growth and renewal. Therefore, please come invest in us. We know that Africa is a growing market, and we know that Americans, Europeans, Chinese, they all want to come in South Africa to invest. But we are saying, as much as you put your investment, make sure that you don't make our people lose everything. Invest in us. Let us help you get the profits whilst we're also growing economically.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your stay, and best of luck. Thank you so much, Minister. Well, there you had Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, our Communications Minister, here as part of the World Economic Forum delegation here for South Africa to spread the word and bring some of that investment in. And as you heard, she was on a cyber security and terrorism panel earlier, and one of the big concerns with international players especially is interference in elections. In terms of our elections coming up this year, the Minister says she's not worried.